prepared for them. Those overlords are right there. They're going to see that Dark Templar. That sunken colony is going to ward that Dark Templar away very handily there. And it looks like the players are moving around the map. Bisu with a couple Zerglings there. Magma intelligently putting that Zergling there to scout whether Bisu puts a third expansion up or not. The thing is, when the Protoss player needs to get that third expansion up, or else he'll risk getting being contained inside of his main base. It's very smart because the Zerg player will go on the offensive if the Protoss player tries to put up that third expansion. We saw that Savior... Oh, and Bisu losing another Corsair! Really careless play by Bisu. I'm not sure what he's thinking, but that is surprising to say the least. It looks like Magma with one Zergling here, going to get taken out by those Zealots. Bisu with a couple Archons morphing there. Interesting play. Another Dark Templar for Bisu, going to try and enter his base, but this Dark Templar is again going to be warded away by that Overlord. And it looks like Bisu is setting up to take the 9 o'clock expansion. He's putting down a cannon just to be safe because he knows that Magma has scouted that location. Magma knows that Bisu is putting that second expansion up, and it wouldn't surprise me if we saw Magma move out right now. And yes, it looks like a force of Zerglings are moving out from Magma. That Dark Templar Bisu is going to get warded away for a third time. And these Zerglings are going to try and harass that expansion, but I don't think they're going to be able to break that powerful Protoss force there of Zealots and Archons. Looks like Bisu's getting a robotics facility up, likely for robotics support for his Bisu build. And now we see those Zerglings for Magma going to try and harass that expansion, but I really don't think this is going to be successful. There are a lot of cannons there. There are a lot of Zealots for Bisu. More forces coming in for Bisu from behind. Bisu is going to slaughter that force of Zerglings very easily. So Bisu is going to be able to take that third expansion at the 9 o'clock position. And that third expansion is so critical for Bisu because Bisu needs the resources that third expansion is going to provide him. He needs those resources to build up his army, and that is a large part of why Bisu lost that game against Savior earlier in this round, is because Bisu was not able to get that third expansion, and it cost him the game. Critically, Bisu has taken that expansion, and so he is going to be able to have more of an army this game, and therefore more of a chance to hold his line. It looks like Magma's actually going for 6 hatcheries, so we're going to be seeing very heavy macro from Magma very soon. A lot of lurkers out for him as well. And it looks like Bisu has an Observer out, which is good. He's going to get some scouting done. High Templar out for Bisu now. High Templar and Archons. I haven't seen a whole lot of Dragoons for Bisu. Bisu doesn't really need them as of yet, but he will once those he sees those lurkers, because those lurkers are going to be very effective against the Zealots. It looks like a couple of Zealots catching Bisu's forces right there. Bisu's going to back off. He doesn't have the forces. Bisu's High Templar are really out of position there. They're very vulnerable. Bisu needs to maneuver his Zealots back around to get back in the front. Nice storm for Bisu, taking out a lot of Zerglings. Another nice storm for Bisu. But those lurkers are just taking pot shots at those Zealots, and Bisu has to back off. Bisu can't engage that force of lurkers right now. Note how Magma has spread those lurkers out so as to make them less vulnerable to Bisu's inevitable psionic storms. So Bisu's going to move his forces back towards his side of the map, and Magma's going to pursue him. Magma knows he has Bisu on the run. Magma with Hive Tech down already, wow, and a Defiler's Mound. So we're going to be seeing some heavy macro and Defiler play from Magma very soon now. Bisu with an Observer there south of his main force. Bisu does have some Dragoons out now. Bisu with a sizable force, but I don't know. Magma with a lot of lurkers here. Magma looks to be trying to take that expansion. Bisu knows this. He's going to try and stop that expansion from going up. A couple lurkers going down here, a couple Zealots going down for Bisu, a lot of Zerglings in the front being taken out by that Archon there, and those lurker spines still going off. Those lurkers are going to keep Bisu on the other side of that ramp. They're not going to let Bisu through. I have not seen any Defilers out for Magma yet, but it's only a matter of time. Of course, Bisu, wow, putting a lot of cannons down at his 9 o'clock expansion. He's really worried about losing that expansion. And again, I still think Bisu is shaken up from his game with Savior. I think he thought he would win that game. He was convinced he would win it before he started playing, and now I think he's really maybe unsure of himself. Nonetheless, Bisu's playing very carefully here. those cannons are going to ward that large force of Zerglings away very easily. And what is this? Magma has nothing defending his 3 o'clock expansion. Magma's going to pincer Bisu's army from behind. This could be very bad, but a ton of storms going down for Bisu. Psionic Storm, of course, the great equalizer in PvZ play, and a ton of storms. Magma is going to lose that entire force of Zerglings and Lurkers. Bisu might be able to clean this expansion up, but I'm not sure. Bisu losing an Archon there, but he's managing to keep this small force alive. More Zerglings coming in from all directions for Magma, and they're just going to whittle that force down. I don't think this army of Bisu's is going to survive for much longer. It does look like Magma has attack speed upgrade for his Zerglings now, so he effectively has Cracklings, which are going to be very dangerous against Bisu's infantry units. Looks like another battle in the middle here. Bisu's going to hold this position. He's going to ward Magma's units away. But Magma likely has more Lurkers than Zerglings waiting for Bisu up top. Dark Swarm going down, so Bisu's Dragoons are going to be completely ineffective against any units that hide under that swarm. Bisu's going to be forced back down that ramp by those Lurkers, and Bisu has to be very careful here. Looks like those Defilers are consuming some Zerglings, getting their energy back, waiting for more Dark Swarm so they can just sort of leapfrog their way towards Bisu's units. Bisu putting some more gateways down. He knows, he realizes how many hatcheries Magma has at this point, and he's going to have to keep his macro up. Another Dark Swarm going down, more Great Storms going off for Bisu, but those Dark Swarms are going to effectively totally defend those Lurkers, and they're going to keep Bisu critically on the bottom side of that ramp, which really negates the effectiveness of those Dragoons of his. It looks like Bisu's going to try and set down another expansion on his side of the map, on his sort of inner natural on Byzantium 2, and a lot of cracklings coming in for Magma, but I think Bisu's plague going off on a lot of Bisu's units. Bisu's units have plague all over them, but it's not going to be very effective against those Archons. It looks like Magma has an Ultralisk Cavern down, though, so I expect we'll see a lot of Ultralisks from... And it looks like Bisu's moving a shuttle up here, and that shuttle's going to get caught by those Scourge! Oh, big loss for Bisu. That was probably an attempt at a Dark Templar drop, and Bisu losing that shuttle. Bad news. Another battle going down here. A lot of storms, a lot of Dark Swarms, and it looks like Bisu's going to win this again. But Magma can just keep pumping those units out. What Bisu really needs to do, Bisu needs to maneuver around these forces of Magma's, and Bisu needs to destroy one of Magma's expansions. If Bisu can take out one of Magma's expansions, he can really take a decisive lead in this game. Both players are equal on bases now, which means that overall I think Bisu is in the lead of this game, but really it still could go either way. Ultralisk's out now for Magma, and that's going to make things dangerous for Bisu. Bisu's forces, looks like Bisu and Magma are going to clash in the middle here. Lurkers going down for Magma. Those Lurkers are going to make life hell for those units of Bisu's. Bisu's going to have to back off again, losing a couple of Dragoons there, but microing his forces out of the way pretty well, and it looks like Magma is content to take map control and push onto Bisu's inner natural. Looks like these two Archons of Bisu's are going to effectively hold these units back, but a ton of Zerglings, and Ultralisk going to come in and shred those Archons to pieces. Bisu with observers everywhere, as is his sort of forte, keeping an eye on those Zerg forces, making sure he doesn't lose track of that large, threatening force of Magma's. It looks like Bisu is maneuvering his army into sort of a defensive position, struggling to push Magma back somewhat, but Magma has map control right now, and he has that Defiler. If that Defiler consuming Zerglings to get his energy back, if Bisu were to lose this